Hello, my name is Aubrey. I'm so glad you're here because today I am coming at you with another book haul. Now, this book haul in particular is very exciting for me personally because it wraps up a trilogy of book hauls in which I've been trying to get through all of the books that I bought last year. So today, here and now, I'm going to be caught up with hauling books, and I know that this might not matter to anyone else other than me, but I am just so happy to be here. I will try to have all of the ones I can linked down below for you. I'm going to try to go through them quickly because there are so many, so let's just get started. Actually, before we get started, I want to quickly apologize for any droning that you hear in the background. I do apologize. I think everyone in my neighborhood has decided to do yard work today for some reason. So anyway, the first two books I have to show you are Wolf Song and Raven Song by T.J. Klune. These are books 1 and 2 to the Green Creek Quartet. I think these were originally self-published and now they've gotten these gorgeous new hardcovers and upgraded covers. I am obsessed with these covers. I love them so much. I don't know if you can tell from far away, but up close, the wolves are like made of paper. When I first looked at them online, I thought they were just digital paintings, but up close you can tell that it looks like these were handmade and then photographed. I don't know if that's how these covers were actually made, but that's what they look like and it's very cool. I have not actually read any T.J. Klune, so these were half a leap of faith, half I'm just obsessed with these covers. I think this is considered to be a paranormal romance series, and I don't know anything about it other than that. Next, I have Dead Silence by S.A. Barnes. This is a sci-fi horror about a crew who gets a distress signal and ends up going to this like haunted ship. I heard really good things about it. I'm excited to pick this one up sometime when I'm in the mood for something spooky. It literally sounds like they're mowing my lawn, which they're not, but it's so close. Next, I have Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. I'm not going to spend any time on these. I loved them. I have a duology review for these. If you want to check that out, I'll have it linked down below. These are just the regular US hardcovers. I think they're super pretty, and I am very happy to have this beautiful duology in my collection. Next, I have The Helm of Midnight by Marina Lossetter. This is about a serial killer who kind of gets brought back to life because his essence was like imbued in a mask that gets stolen, and so he's on the streets killing once again. I am very interested in this series. I first heard of it, of course, through Reagan from Peru's Project. She really liked this and it just sounds very unusual and dark, so I found it for a really good price. The trilogy isn't finished, but I'll be really excited to read it once it does. Next, I have one that I bought very recently. I have The Girl Who Drank the Moon by Kelly Barnhill. I found this at a local used bookstore. I have been wanting to read this for ages. I've just heard that it is a wonderfully whimsical middle grade. It's about a witch who lives in a forest, I think, and she keeps getting babies like dropped off as offerings from this like nearby village, and she's like, I don't get why people keep leaving these babies here for me. Like, what is that about? So she takes the babies and she gives them like droplets of sunlight, I think, and one day she accidentally gives one of the babies a droplet of moonlight instead. Am I on track here? Oh, starlight. She's supposed to give them starlight, but she gives this one particular baby moonlight, which I guess makes her a little bit too magical, and so the witch keeps her as her own. Anyway, it sounds like an absolutely gorgeous read. I cannot wait to try this out, and I was very happy to find it for like nearly half price. Next, I have Call Down the Hawk and Mr. Impossible by Maggie Stiefvater. These are books 1 and 2 in the Call Down the Hawk trilogy, which is a sequel trilogy to the Raven Cycle. And if you're new here, the Raven Cycle is one of my favorite YA fantasy series, like, of all time. I mean, I only read it like 2 years ago, but it has taken over my entire personality. I am excited to read this trilogy. I'm also terrified to read this trilogy. I have very complicated feelings. It's like, on the one hand, I am really excited to have more of these characters in this world, but on the other hand, it's not the Raven Cycle, so what if I don't like it as much as I liked that original series? But, you know, of course I am still gonna give it a try. Next, I have Fury Song by Rosaria Munda, and this is book 3 in the... I don't know what the trilogy is called, but the first book was Fireborn. I hauled books 1 and 2 when I found them used many hauls ago, and now I have book 3. I found this somewhere for a good good price, probably. This is a YA series with a lot of political fantasy and intrigue with dragons. I've heard some really great things about it, so I am looking forward to picking it up. Next, I have another very recent acquisition, The Once and Future Witches by Alex E. Harrow. I hauled her most recent book, Starling House, in my last haul, and in that haul I mentioned that she has quite a backlist that I'm interested in, and I was very excited to find this at my local used bookstore. It was $8, which is an excellent price for a hardcover, adult fantasy book. The original price was $28, so, a nice find. I don't know that much about the plot of this one, but honestly, if you put witches in the title of anything, my interest is piqued, so hoping for a fun witchy time. Next, I have a graphic novel, Extraordinary by V.E. Schwab. This is within the Vicious universe. Vicious is, to date, my favorite V.E. Schwab book. I read it way before BookTube. I've been meaning to return to this world. I wanted to reread Vicious when Vengeful came out, but then there were hints that there was going to be a third book, so I've just been holding out for that third book, but I think this is sort of unrelated. It's just taking place in the universe. I've been wanting to pick it up for quite a while, and when I found it for $10 at Barnes & Noble, I was like, ooh, especially because I think it is an exclusive edition and it's signed. So that's fun. Really hoping I like this. The art style looks cool. Alright, so for Black Friday of last year, my husband and I found this massive warehouse in South Carolina that has just like an enormous collection of remaindered books. It's truly insane. We went, it was a madhouse. The line went all the way around the store. When I tell you the two of us were like kids in a candy store, we went feral. And all of the books I'm about to show you next were from that warehouse. So all of these were 75% off, I believe. Truly, it was a crazy time, but so much fun, and I got lots of good books. First up, I have Senlin Ascends by Josiah Bancroft. This is supposed to be just like a weird, dark, kind of whimsically bizarre type book about a guy who loses his wife in the Tower of Babel, and then all this weird stuff happens. I've heard really phenomenal things about this series. I'm looking forward to checking this out eventually. Next, I have For the Wolf and For the Throne by Hannah Whitten. This is the Wilderwood duology. I thought originally this was supposed to be a Red Riding Hood retelling, but I think apparently it's more of a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I love me a good adult fairy tale. I've had my eye on these for quite a while. They only ever came out in paperback, which is unfortunate, but finding both of these at that sale was really fun. So hopefully I'll be able to just binge the duology, and I really hope I like it. Next, I have Empire of Sand by Tasha Sori. This was the only copy they had, and I snatched it up. At least it was the only copy I saw. I have been really excited to read this duology for a super long time. I have been collecting her current trilogy, The Jasmine Throne, but I really wanted to read this duology first, so I was very happy to find this. Do I know what this duology is about? No, I don't. I first heard about this from Sam from Thoughts on Tomes. She really liked it, and honestly, she and I have very similar taste, so I knew that if she liked it, there's a good chance I would like it too. Next, I have 10,000 Stitches and Long Shadow by Olivia Atwater. I'm not sure which one comes first. Oh, this one does. Yes. They're numbered. This is books 2 and 3 in the Regency Fairy Tales trilogy, though I think they're standalones. Anyway, unfortunately they didn't have Half a Soul, but when I saw these two I still picked them up anyway. Like I said, it's a trilogy of standalones, and the first book is about a girl who only has half of her soul left. I think she gets half of it taken from a fae, is that right? I'm not totally sure, and I don't have it here to read you a synopsis, and I don't want to read the synopses for these because I don't know if they're spoilery or not. These look like fun, whimsical romantasy, and I'm looking forward to picking these up whenever I can get my hands on the first one. Next, I have the special edition of Leviathan Wakes by James A. Corey. This is the super neon pink edition. I don't typically buy editions like this because usually they don't continue on with the rest of the books, but I saw that books 2 and 3 at the very least got similar special edition treatment, so I'm hoping that they're just gonna do it for the whole series, which would be very cool. And because books 2 and 3 got that treatment, I was really excited to see this for 75% off. So I snatched it up, and this one doesn't even have a remainder mark on it anywhere. that I can find. Very exciting stuff. Next, I have The World We Make by N.K. Jemisin, and this is book 2 in her like Great Cities duology. I have the first book, which I was able to find very cheap at like an Ollie's one time, and I jumped at the chance to also get the sequel because as a binge reader, it is always nice to have the sequels on hand. So this is a series about New York City, and specifically the boroughs of New York City are like personified. They can like walk around like humans and talk to each other, which is just really cool. I have yet to complete an N.K. Jemisin novel. I have read some of her short stories, but I'm sort of going on faith that she is going to be a favorite author of mine. And then I was able to find 3 books in a middle grade quartet. The Wizards of Once by Cressida Cowell. This is the author of How to Train Your Dragon. So I was able to find this first one, Knock 3 Times, and Never and Forever. These were apparently like Canadian editions, but they're so pretty and they've got all this like foiling on them, and this is a just like whimsical middle grade that I've wanted to try out for quite some time. Every once in a while I just get into a really middle grade mood and I just want like whimsy and adventure. Yeah, I grabbed these. I will have to track down whatever book I'm missing in the quartet. I'm not sure what that one is called, so I'll have to be on the lookout for that. Otherwise, I was really excited to find these. All right, next I have this really fun edition of Alice in Wonderland that my husband got for me. It's a Cinestory comic, and it's basically just like stills from the Disney film. So as you go through, it's like all the dialogue and the animation, which is just really fun. I have a little Alice in Wonderland collection, and I think this is a really cute addition to add to that collection. Next, I have The Trouble with Peace and The Wisdom of Crowds by Joe Abercrombie. I wasn't going to invest in this trilogy until I had read First Law, but when you see fantasy hardcovers for 75% off, you stick them in your cart and you ask questions later. You know what I'm saying? I don't have the first book, so I'll need to track that down, but I mean, come on. All right, next I have a very exciting one. It's The Justice of Kings by Richard Swan. I have had my eye on this trilogy for a while. I've been dying to read it, and when I found it for so cheap, I mean, I can't even tell you how excited I was. We're following a justice, a very powerful, just justice who will uphold the law no matter what. And I think the interesting thing about this trilogy is that it's told from the point of view of his protege, Helen. I think the two of them investigate a murder. It sounds very interesting, and I've just heard glowing reviews, especially for the first 2 books. The 3rd book just came out. I've heard some mixed things about that, but nonetheless, I'm dying to read this trilogy. Next, I have The Fires of Vengeance by Evan Winter. The first book was The Rage of Dragons. When Rage of Dragons came out, I think it got a lot of buzz, at least in the niche fantasy space. People seem to really like that one. I have it up on my shelf. I haven't read it because I've been waiting for the series to be finished. I think it's a trilogy. One, I wanted to pick this up, especially at such a cheap price, because fantasy hardcovers go out of print and then they get really hard to find and they get really expensive. I wanted to have it just in case, but 2, I'm hoping that once that 3rd book comes out, I will have some revitalized interest in the trilogy. All right, and next I have probably the most exciting find out of anything, and it was a bunch of Witcher hardbacks. I'm not sure what order these go in. I haven't read the series yet. I have Blood of Elves, Baptism of Fire, The Time of Contempt, Season of Storms, and The Lady of the Lake. So I think with all of these, I'm only missing 2 more in the series, which is just so cool. Like, it was so cool to be able to find so many of these because I was absolutely drooling over these hardcovers when they came out. But, you know, they're so expensive. And I hadn't read the series and I was like, oh, I can't justify buying those right now. So yeah, very, very exciting. All right, lastly, I have some books that I ordered from the UK. When I found out the Book Depository was going out of business, I bought like a bunch of books, which tells you just how long I've been sitting on some of this stuff. So some of these are from my last remaining order to Book Depository, but some of them were from Blackwell's a little bit more recently. So first up, I have The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. Did I already have an edition of this book? Yes, I did. Have I even read this book? No, I haven't. I wasn't going to buy it. I really wasn't, except, first of all, it's an illustrated edition, which I am just a sucker for an illustrated edition. Second, I guess there's 3 things. Second, it matches the like black, white, and red color scheme of V.E. Schwab books. You can see right here. And thirdly, the stenciled edges, of course. When I found out the Book Depository was going out of business, I just thought I'd snatch it up in case I couldn't ever find it again if it went out of print. Shipping from the UK is often very expensive, though Currently, Blackwell's does have free shipping to the US. I don't know why I haven't read this. I'm like a little bit intimidated by it. I know it's a very divisive book, so I know either I'm going to love it or I'm going to hate it, which just seems to be how people feel about it. It's very polarizing, which sort of scares me a little, but you know, I'll get to it one day. Next, I have If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio, another illustrated edition. I've been wanting to read this for a while. It's like a dark academia thriller murder mystery. I've heard it's fantastic. I hope to read it sometime this year during the fall season. Next, I have Thornhedge, A House with Good Bones, and The Hollow Places, all by T. Kingfisher. I know for a fact I also ordered Nettle and Bone, but I don't know where it is, and in the chaos of my recent move, I haven't found it, which is very upsetting. T. Kingfisher is quickly becoming one of my favorite authors. My first T. Kingfisher book was Nettle and Bone, which I adored. I read The Hollow Places shortly afterwards and also really enjoyed it. It's just sort of a creepy portal horror. And most recently I've read Thornhedge, which is just like a cute, weird little fairy tale. So yeah, I really enjoy her. I love her UK covers most of all, which is why I wanted to grab these two, especially before they went out of print. But I thought I would pick up a copy of The Hollow Places as well, since I read it and enjoyed it. And I don't think there's a hardcover edition of this either in the US or the UK. So yeah, really looking forward to A House with Good Bones and continuing to crawl down T. Kingfisher's backlist because she has a lot of books. All right, next I have Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. This is the UK hardcover. I just think it's so cute. I love it. And it has the original artwork on the inside, so you get the best of both worlds. I read this earlier this year. It really did win me over. I mean, I think we all know about Legends and Lattes, so I'll just move on. But yeah, I love this edition. Next, I have Foxglove by Adeline Grace. I bought the Fairy Loot special edition on Mercari before the prices for it became like crazy, but I wasn't able to snag a matching copy of Foxglove from Fairy Loot. They sold out way too fast and I didn't get one, but I am obsessed with this cover. So I knew I needed to get it at least in just like the regular edition, which is just so stunning. I'm gonna hold it up close so you can get a real good look at it. And I think the first printings at least had this like really pretty foiling. This is a YA fantasy trilogy about a girl who I think kind of has a romance with death. People seem to be really obsessed with this. I'm looking forward to checking it out. And above all, I think these UK covers are so stunning, so unbelievably pretty. So I hope I like it for that reason alone. Alright, next I ordered The Fragile Threads of Power by V.E. Schwab. This is her newest book and the fourth book in the Shades of Magic series. I went with the UK editions because again, they still have that black and white and red theme and they most closely match like the originals, the US originals. But they are not the same size, which is fine. I knew it wasn't going to be when I ordered it. I hate the new cover change. I really do. These are iconic, okay? Iconic of all the series that need and deserve cover changes. Like this was not one. I'm decently bitter about it. I ordered the UK edition. I think it's nice. I think it's fine. And it will at the very least fit in with my other V.E. Schwab books and like the vibe I'm going for. So yeah, I really enjoyed this, by the way. I read this a couple of months ago. If you loved the original trilogy, you will, I think, really enjoy this also. All right, we are rocking and rolling. Next, I have volume 1 of Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. The UK has been putting out these gorgeous like hardcover special editions of them. I desperately need to get the rest of them. I haven't yet because I haven't really been in the mood to reread them. But once I am in the mood to reread them, I'll probably go and order them all. So wholesome and so good. This is the back with the shoes and the spine looks like this. Yeah, these editions are just lovely and I can't wait to collect them all. Next, I have The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana, and I just really wanted the UK hardcover for this. I think it's really pretty. It just looks like a cozy fantasy that you want to like curl up with. This is about a witch who I think she starts making videos online about her magic, thinking that no one will believe her. And then she gets this message that's like begging her to come to this nowhere house, I think in order to like teach a bunch of young witches. It's a contemporary fantasy romance. I can't wait to read this. I'm looking forward to reading it sometime this fall season. It sounds so cute and I've heard just like such wonderful things about it, and I'm really happy to have this UK edition of it. Okay friends, we did it. We did it! We hauled all of the books. Thank you so much for watching. Have you read any of these books? Do you recommend that I prioritize any over any others? Are any of these books on your TBR as well? If you want to see my last fantasy book haul, I will leave it right here for you. Please like this video if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to see more from me. I hope to see you next time. Bye!